So in this video, we're going to look at the first war of Indian independence or the Revolt of 1857. We begin with the Revolt of 1857. There were numerous local movements and rebellions that preceded the Revolt of 1857, but none that matched its fervor or scale. And hence, we look to it as the beginning of the Indian independence movement. It was the morning of 11th May of 1857. The city of Delhi had not yet woken up when a band of sepoys from Meerut, who had defied and killed the European officers the previous day, crossed the river Jamuna, set the toll house on fire, and marched to the Red Fort, followed by an excited crowd. Bahadur Shah II was the last Mughal emperor at this time. He was weak and nominal and a pensioner of the British East India Company, and he resided at the Red Fort. The crowd wanted Bahadur Shah to become their leader and hence lend legitimacy to their cause. Bahadur Shah vacillated as he was neither sure of his own ability to lead such a movement nor the intentions of the sepoys gathered. He was persuaded, if not coerced, and was proclaimed Shahenshah-e-Hindustan. The sepoys then set out to capture and control the imperial city of Delhi. With the capture of Delhi and proclamation of Bahadur Shah as the Emperor of Hindustan, the first war of Indian independence had begun. The revolt was widespread across all of North, Central, and Western India. South India, Bengal, and Punjab, which would later go on to become the hotspots of the national movement, remained largely quiet during the revolt of 1857, although Bengal did see some action thanks to Awadh. Awadh was a region from where a large part of the Bengal army was drawn from. This is an important point. Over half of the company's strength of over 230,000 sepoys opted out of their loyalty to the regimental colors during the revolt of 1857. So, when we look at the revolt, we have to understand what were the reasons behind the revolt, because by the time the revolt of 1857 happened, British had consolidated their rule in India for over 100 years. Even if you look at it from 1757, right? And even before that, they already had some kind of a rule in India, probably from 1600s. So, why was it that in 1857 we saw a major revolt against the British? The reasons for the revolt were many. Number one, the new Enfield rifles introduced had cartridges that had to be bitten off before they could be loaded into the guns. However, the cartridges were said to be made of pig and cow fat. Cow was sacred to the Hindus. Pig was considered unclean by the Muslims. It was haram for them. In that day and age, nothing took precedence over religion. This being the case, the introduction of such cartridges that went against the faith of these soldiers led to widespread dissatisfaction and hurt. It also served in further strengthening the Hindus and Muslims against the British, for the faiths of both these communities was seen to be violated. It was the 19th Infantry of Berhampur which was disbanded first, for they refused to use the Enfield rifle. This was in March of 1857. During a proclamation issued in Delhi, I quote, "It was well known that in these days all the English have entertained these evil designs. First, to destroy the religion of the whole Hindustani army, and then to make the people by compulsion Christians. Therefore, we solely on account of our religion have combined with the people and have spared not one infidel and have re-established the Delhi dynasty on these terms." A small inset story further shows the importance and influence that religion had over the society of that age. In 1824, the 47th Regiment of Barakpur was ordered to go to Burma. Crossing the sea meant loss of religion to the Orthodox Hindu. The regiment opposed. It was disbanded, and those who led the opposition were hanged. The sepoys chose death over any detriment to their religious affairs. Such was the importance of religion in that day and age. We look at another instance. Another instance goes this way. The sepoys who participated in the Afghan war were subject to some arduous conditions and disastrous campaigns when they were there. The fleeing sepoys were forced to eat and drink whatever came their way. When these sepoys returned home to India, members of their caste fraternity correctly guessed that they could not have adhered to the strict stipulations of caste, and therefore they were hesitant to welcome them back into the community. Some sepoys hung themselves. The prestige of being in the pay of the company was not enough to hold the position in society. Religion and caste proved much more powerful. The second larger point, coming back to the revolt of 1857, a young sepoy of the 34th Native Infantry, Mangal Pandey, went a step further. The humiliations mounted on the sepoy were many, and there were further transgressions not only to his religion but to his sense of dignity as well. In all walks of life, personal and professional, he was seen to be beneath that of his European counterpart. Mangal Pandey, infuriated with the treatment meted out to the sepoys at that time, fired at the sergeant major of his regiment. He was unfortunately overpowered and executed, a travesty captured across the length and breadth of this nation. His regiment was then disbanded. Mangal Pandey was one of the first heroes to sacrifice his life for the country. Millions more lay their lives down. Mangal Pandey to this day remains immortal and is etched in the imagination of every Indian. He was to become an important symbol of freedom, bravery, courage, and hope. His name was to become a legend, and he was later an inspiration for the revolutionary freedom fighters like Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Ashfaqullah Khan, and others. We will continue with Revolt of 1857 in the next video as well. Thank you.